Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa broadcast. I present to you the host, Yinka Olaito.
Nigeria, which is Africa's most populous nation, stands as the most diverse of 250 million people with diverse ethnic groups. The diversity should be an opportunity. Unfortunately, the political arena and the religious conflict had rendered this diversity an advantage Nigeria can have as useless or meaningless. From long-standing ethnic rivalries to religious polarizations, regional economic disparity, political exclusion of some people, Nigerian nation-building projects continue to be a very challenging one. In this episode, I'll be looking at Nigeria political and ethnic conflict, and I'll be speaking to Dr. Emmanuel Onah, Associate Professor at Department of Political Science, University of Lagos. Professor Onah is a political analyst, a political economist, who is specializing in political behavior, and deep interest in Africa and Nigeria politics. Welcome to the program, Professor Onah.
Thank you, Yinka. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for all you do, knowledge sharing, and your passion. I've had causes to see you challenging and analyzing political environment in Nigeria in different media platforms. And I'm happy that people like you continue to push the limits of knowledge so that we can actually get to where we're going. So with this, we have seen the issue of Nigeria, and from that, we need your view. Context and history. How did Nigeria colonial, post-colonial history shape today ethnic and religious division?
Yeah, Yinka, thank you. I thank you for the appreciation of our little contributions to the Nigerian national, to the solution of the Nigerian national question. Colonialism actually is the foundation of whatever problem we have today, because it is colonialism that created the country Nigeria. It is colonialism that brought the people we now call Nigerians together in the first instance. So to that extent, colonialism is at the foundation of whatever problems we have in Nigeria. But going further to the practical basis of these problems, yes, colonialism made for the problems we have today in many respects. The first respect was the manner of colonizing Nigerians. Britain did not capture the whole Nigeria at once. They captured us in different episodes. So they captured the southwest of Nigeria. They captured essentially the southeast of Nigeria. Then they captured the north of Nigeria. And as they were doing this, they were setting up different, different rules, different institutions, different patterns, in these areas that they have captured. For instance, when they captured the southern parts of Nigeria, east and west, they treated them as heathens, people who did not know God. Essentially.
Really?
Yes, essentially as people who were serving, deities and other objects. So as they were capturing us, they were encouraging Christian missionaries to come and evangelize these areas. And as they were evangelizing us, they were introducing Christianity. But on the other hand, as they were pacify
Capturing
or
the north.
capturing northern Nigeria, they recognize that that area essentially already knew God, that they had the Islamic religion. And there was a conscious respect for that religion. So as they were capturing northern Nigeria, they were making room for the continuation of Islam. And in fact, it was, as a matter of fact, it was official British policy not to disturb the religious equation in the north. In fact, they discouraged Christian missionaries, especially in the far north, from evangelizing. It was only in the middle belt areas where they saw that Islam had not penetrated that they allowed some form of Christian evangelization. So by the time Britain took complete control of Nigeria, we already had an official religious policy. Christianity in the south, and in some instances, in some places like Southwest, where there was elements of Islamic religion, they were also, that was also allowed to coexist with the new Christian missions. So essentially, the British policy was to leave the north for Islam, and then to allow Islam in any area of the south that already existed, and then encourage the other areas that did not know Islam to be evangelized in the Christian manner. As Nigeria, continued to grow, we grew in this light. Islam became for the north. Christianity became for the south, for the east and the west, with some sprinkling of Islam in the southwest. And that has continued to reflect in every other thing we did. So even as we are doing politics, even as we were getting used to British politics and all of that, Islam was already, religion was already there, rooted in our ways. And the religion that was rooted there was Islam for the north, Christianity essentially for the south. So by the time politics started bringing its competitive aspects, contesting for the presidency, contesting for officers of the National Assembly and all of that, there was no way we could avoid the issue of religion and religious balance. And from there, religion started creeping into our politics. So that eventually, by so many other issues and processes, as at the time we were becoming independent, there was already an interplay of religion and then ethnicity. The issue of ethnicity also followed almost that pattern. And then, so there was already an interplay of religion, ethnicity, and politics in the Nigerian society and nation. And it has continued like that because throughout British rule, they never discouraged, that kind of competition, that kind of ethno-religious politics that had come to exist. And then when Nigerians took over, there was no conscious effort to bring it down. Instead, we are now reinforcing it. We are now even, making it more germane. Because as people started losing out, as people started losing out and others started gaining from this interplay in politics, of course, there was now reason for some other people to try to create some new dimensions to it as a way of gaining advantage, as a way of ensuring disadvantage for others. And it has been like that. Up till today, religion, ethnicity have interplayed in our politics and with our politics to create advantage and disadvantage for politicians and for groups in the Nigerian.
Thank you, Professor Onah. Thank you for creating the background to this. I'm happy that you set the background to the conversation we're having about political ethno-religious crisis and conflict. And the major reason for this episode, ideally, is to unpack these crises and how they persist, how they intersect, and what can be done to heal the division, and to explore role of history, governance, youth activism, and economic policy from all of these. So the next question I want to ask you, Prof, is this. Root of conflict. What are the drivers of Nigeria recurrent ethnic and religious crises? Is it politics? It is economics? It is inequality or leadership failures?
No, you see, the interplay of politics, religion, and ethnicity in the nation is already there. But from time to time, we have episodes where such interplay plays up dangerously to levels that are not permissible. And I can assure you that these episodes come about when the competition that is usually at the background of this interplay, when it gets very heightened, and groups are seeing that they are going to lose out, or groups are seeing that they are going, or groups are seeing that they are going
that they are not included.
Yes, or groups are seeing that they are not included, or groups are seeing that they need to consolidate their dominance. It is at these periods when advantage is threatened, or when disadvantage is trying to be institutionalized, or is going to be formalized. Those are the periods when this ethno-religious political interplay will now tilt above board, and then we'll start talking about conflict, we'll start talking about violence. But ordinarily, we use these factors to maintain our ground, to keep to our space. I mean, I am a Catholic, Southeast is more of Christianity. Even when you come in, you will see the politics between Catholicism and Protestantism and all of that. But on a general note, for as long as everybody gets what is supposed to get, for instance, if we say that that everybody gets what is supposed to get, nobody will play up any of these factors beyond the normal limits, So if there is politics now and my people want to be president and they win, nobody will talk about religion, nobody will talk about ethnicity here. But for those who have lost out, they will now try to see if it was politics, or if it was religion, or if it was ethnicity that made them to lose out. And if they feel that the manner of losing out was contrived, was not justifiable, then they will want to try to to scuttle the entire process, and then violence could occur. So I am saying that the background is already there of ethno-religious politics, and then any of these other social factors can play it up. It could be in economics. Even a simple issue has dominated a market, Oyinbo market, or Alaba market. Are you getting it? Once a group sees that they are losing out, another group is trying to take over this market. Of course, they will go back to their shares and justify this because it is because we are Igbos, or it is because we are Yorubas, or it is because we are this, or some people have come. This is supposed to be our fatherland, and some outsiders are coming to dominate. They will now use ethno-religious arguments to try to restore the status quo. And the other people could also try to use ethno-religious sentiments to try to institute a new status quo. Yes, we are Igbos, but we are Nigerians. So you cannot tell us that we are supposed to be here. And then the argument continues. And sometimes it flares up into violence. It could be politics, the presidential elections, the National Assembly elections. Who wants to be what? And then when groups start losing out or start having the upper hand, ethno-religious interpretations could come in, and then it could flare up into violence and other forms of conflict. It could be anything. It could be even culture. It could be even culture. For instance, the recent Obi of Lagos saga. I mean, yes, some people will say, these Igbos are trying to gain prominence here. They are trying to take the shine off us, and we are the owners of the land. How will we no? We cannot accept this. And then a new round of ethno-religious conflicts will come up. It's a cultural thing. Go back to your land. That is when you will be hearing such a thing. Then the other one will tell you, we are just saying we are just talking about Obi of Lagos. We are not saying we are just saying Obi of Igbos in Lagos and all of that. The argument will continue going on. So social phenomenon could cause the flare up of ethno-religious and political conflict. Any social phenomenon at all, whether it is economics, whether it's politics, whether it's culture, whether it's even religion itself. For instance, a place of worship, time of worship, and all of that could now flare up, into an ethnicity will come and join religion. And then politics will come and join both of them. You will now start seeing, yeah.
Prof, your major interest is in political behavior. And that's why this question that I want to ask, and you are very keen about Nigerian and African politics. So my question is, the present political structure, how is he helping Nigeria, the federal structure, how is he helping Nigeria to exacerbate or to continue to fuel the crisis of religion and ethnicity?
Yeah, let me come in here. Some people, especially who are not trained in political science or even social science to some extent, they are wont to believe always that federalism is a solution in itself to the problems of diversity.
Wow.
Because ethno-religious political issues are problems of diversity. And some people actually believe that federalism is a solution in itself. It is not, for me, federalism could be a solution. It is actually designed as a solution to such matters. But unitarism could also be a solution. It depends on the practice of any of the systems that you choose. Let me give you an instance. Minus one or two countries in Africa, maybe Ethiopia, maybe Somalia, one or two others. All African countries are heterogeneous. But only not less than 11 of them are practicing federalism, and we have 54 countries in Africa. Yes, and I can assure you that the most conflictual of all of these countries are still those countries that are practicing federalism. Talk about Nigeria. Talk about Ethiopia. Ethiopia just they are just coming out of a civil war.
Crisis. Yeah.
Or a civil war based on ethnicity. Which other one? Talk about Sudan. Talk about South Sudan. These are federal countries. Almost all of them are immersed in a crisis. So it is not really the system of government that a country practices that matters. It is actually the practice, how that system is practiced. That is what matters. And as we get on with this interview, when I start getting to the point of recommendations, we see that, you see, most of these things are not only in the practice, but in the perception that people have of how you are practicing it. And central to both practice and perception is a sense of justice.
Yeah, sense of
A
justice.
sense of justice. If for instance there is a presidential election in Nigeria, and all the groups, even if all the groups are presidential candidates, and in the end, one group wins, but the other groups don't see any breach, anywhere that there has been a breach of extant agreements or provisions for our federalism, all of them will accept defeat. But once one group wins, but the other group sees that that group should not have even contested, the group that won should not have even contested in the first place.
At all.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
Or sees that group won by extra normal practices and all of that. They are going to challenge it. Even if they don't challenge it violently, they will not be psychologically tuned to the resulting regime. And there will be,
all right, Prof.
to that extent, there will be
quite
passive conflict. So I don't think, back to your question, I believe that federalism is a standard governmental practice that has been developed to very high points in countries like America, like Canada, like Switzerland, and other places, Germany, other such places. So federalism is as developed almost as unitarism. Unitarism is working well in Britain, is working well in several other countries, several African countries. They are working well. But if you go to these places, the extent to which each system is working well will depend on the practice and perception of the system.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Let's talk about religion and politics. How has religion been a weapon that strengthened the crisis in Nigeria? Number one, and led to political manipulation of the masses.
Of course, these are social phenomena. These are sentimental issues. Social matters are always sentimental. Are you getting it? And religion is one of the most sentimental of issues in human history, because we are not just dealing with the sentiments of man, we are now dealing with the sentiments of God Himself. So once a people can interpret that an injustice has been done to them, and that this injustice is even an injustice in the sight of God, they will fight to the finish. So religion in Nigeria, unfortunately, has not really played a very positive role in our life as a country. But ordinarily, it's supposed to play a more positive role than a negative role. Let me give you an instance. We are talking about corruption as being the real bane of development in Nigeria. But every religion you think about has very robust provisions against corruption. In fact, very robust anti-corruption provisions. In my town, for instance, where I am now, if you steal and somebody goes to a deity and brings it to the point of that stealing, and tells the deity to go and look for this thing for him or her, we believe, and we have seen it happen, in a month or two, the person that stole that thing will die.
Mm.
And in many cases, they will carry his corpse to the oracle, to the forest of the oracle. So even traditional religion has anti-corruption provisions. Is it Christianity we'll be talking about? Christ says so much about, against corruption. Islam has so much. In fact, Islam is even more, not one hand, two
Vocal.
hands. They can they can even behead you because of corruption. Yet all the people that are corrupt in Nigeria, every one Nigerian that is corrupt is practicing one religion or the other. And religion has not stopped anybody.
So we are wondering why religion has not helped them.
Yes, and religion has not stopped any one of them from being corrupt. Yet, once we are playing politics now, even in the issue of corruption, once somebody rises up and says, yeah, the president is accusing me of corruption just because I'm an Igbo man, just because I'm a Hausa man, just because I'm a Fulani man, the whole context, the whole contour,
Change.
the whole
We
color
change.
of that corruption matter will change immediately. So you can see that religion, just like ethnicity, they have actually been playing very negative roles. And it was because of this that the founders of nations, the founders of the state, as far back as 1648, decided to separate religion from the state, to separate religion from politics.
Yeah, Prof. Let's come to another thing. The issue of corruption. Role of governance. How does governance, leadership, corruption, lack of transparency, and accountability are contributing to the ethno-religious issues in Nigeria? You've mentioned that the moment a man changes the dynamic and say, I'm being persecuted because I'm Yoruba or because I'm a Christian, three changes. Can you explain where are the dynamics of role of governance?
Yes, governance is also something that has been underutilized in Nigeria, essentially again, because governance is very thin. Governance is not, we are not very high on governance issues, because we know what has been happening in Nigeria. Almost every regime in Nigeria is not really governing. Is not even conscious of governance at all. So governance again is not playing the role it should play. Let me give you an instance. Why is it that in China we are not hearing about elections and rotation and zoning and zoning?
Mm.
We are
And
not
China
hearing
population is bigger
about.
than Nigeria.
Yes, and you see, or in India, you see, even in India where elections are constant, you see one president, Narendra, the present president of America, of India, has been president for many years. We knew about the Indira Gandhi family, and all of that. That ruled and ruled and ruled, and people continue voting for them. You see, the truth is that once governance is what it should be, the people are not really interested in who is governing them. If there is governance justice, I want to qualify it that way, governance justice. If, for instance, I'm getting what I'm supposed to get from the present government at all levels in Nigeria, local government level, state level, and federal level. If my town is getting everything we are supposed to get, if my ethnic group is getting everything we are supposed to get, if my religious group is getting everything we are supposed to get, then why would I care whether it is Tinubu there or whether it is Buhari there? But the truth is that no sooner than a Tinubu or even an Obi comes into power, the first thing you notice is that he's not providing things for everybody. People are not getting what they are supposed to get. And they will give you 1 month, they will give you 6 months, they will give you 1 year, they will give you 2 years, they have not gotten anything tangible. And then all of a sudden, they hear that something very tangible has been given to your own group, your own community, or your own. And then, all hell is let loose. So if we have,
Prof.
yes,
Yes, you talk about economic injustice, and there's also the issue of justice as large, lack of people getting.
yeah,
Abuse.
I prefer to talk about justice than injustice because
Okay, why?
injustice becomes sentimental. We don't know the threshold of injustice. Are you getting it?
Okay.
But I can know the threshold of joy. I know what I need in this my community. I know the roads that should be tarred. I know that there should be light now, and we can be talking as if we need to, today. I know certain things I need, and that is justice. But now, when you start saying, why is this not available, and they tell you, because there is no money and all of that, you now have to start setting boundaries before you can declare something injustice or all of that. So let us just say for sure, without any argument, that government or governance government is providing governance justice, which means people are getting what they need. No, it may not be everything, but you are seeing that you have gotten one, and you are hopeful that you will get two, and you are hopeful that after getting two, you are getting three. All of us are human beings, and we are reasonable. The difference between a human being and an animal is that human beings are reasonable. But when you have stayed 2
Exactly.
years, when you have stayed 2 years, 3 years, and they have not gotten even one, then you know that even in 4 years you cannot get two. And so you can now say there is no governance justice, not injustice. There is no governance justice for me. And I now I will now click my right of defiance, my right of opposition, my right of uh, not being happy with the regime and all of that. So that is what is happening, across the land.
Yeah, Prof. Because of our time, we are going to have a part two to this. How do we build national identity? And for you, as an expert, a political behavior, a political economist, what are the roadmaps and solution to ethno and religious crisis in Nigeria?
Yes. What the roadmap is just to be founded on governance justice,
Okay.
provision of government giving us what we want. I don't think that there is any German who will not be happy to identify himself as German and will instead
Okay.
want to say, I'm a Bavarian, I'm a Prussian, no, they will not say that. Because Germany is providing for them what they want. I don't think that there is an American, even with all the heterogeneity of America.
Challenges.
There is nobody who will not be proud to identify as American because they can see their government doing the best it can, and they can see that it's the best. They can see that what they have not done is what they cannot do under the circumstances.
Mm.
So we need that in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. If I see governments in Nigeria doing everything for me at every level, honestly, I'll be a proud Nigerian.
Exactly.
But you see, because this is a paradox in Nigeria. Many times we want to fall back to our ethnic groups. But if you ask yourself, you find out that even the governments at those levels, they are not providing anything for us. So in many cases, we are just even being ethnic, just for the for the sake of causing trouble for a government we know does not love us. It's not that we love,
Mm.
it's not that we love our ethnic groups more than our nation. The truth is that even that ethnic group is also disappointing us. Yeah, but because the nation is farther away, then we just decide to be closer home, especially when we have to confront others. But the truth is that ethnicity is rising, religious sentiments are rising, political differences are rising, identity issues are there because the nation is not giving us reason to identify with it.
Prof, thank you. Because we will do part two of this because it's becoming interesting for me. You've raised quite a lot of issues. Uh, justice, governance justice is important. Issue of mobilization and allocation is also important if we are really ready to solve ethno-religious issues in Nigeria. And I think that our leaders are listening. Our listeners are also paying attention to some of the insights you have shared. I have been talking with Professor Emmanuel Onah of Department of Political Science, University of Lagos, who is presently in holiday in his village. We wish you safe journey back to Lagos, and we want to say thank you for the insight share. Like I said, we are going to have a part two of this, and it is interesting to know. I hope that people will realize that ethno-religious crisis in Nigeria has a solution, and it can be solved if we are really serious about it. The challenge is that many of us don't have the strong will or the political will to address the issue. We will rather begin to pamper the other person and then continue to. On this note, we want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to get to our podcast website, which is www.difficultconversationafrica.org. As you know, this is Difficult Conversation.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For inquiry, please send an email to info@difficultconversationafrica.org. Telephone 0809 591. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Difficult Conversation Africa. See you soon.